They tell me you're a man with true grit.
What do you want, girl? Speak up at supper time.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are live tonight on the True Grit Podcast. Time to drop the hammer. I am your host, Shane Davis, former IMCA Modified National Champion, and my sidekick, Pat Moore. Pat, how you doing?
I'm doing great today, Shane. Nice to see you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, a lot of rain this last weekend.
You know, it's been raining everywhere.
Okay. Yeah. We got our guest on here tonight, Andy Nezworski. Andy, how you doing?
We're doing well. How are you doing, Shane?
Pretty good. Had a good run last night, second place.
Yep,
right.
Came up a little short, but it was a good run.
Last night, East Moline Speedway, Gary Webb picks up his 520th career feature win. How do you like that?
That's absolutely amazing. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
72 years old, and he's still dropping the hammer and getting it done.
Yep, without a doubt.
Anything on the national scene that you want to talk about this week, Pat?
Oh, you know, despite all the rain, a lot of racing action. There was unfortunately, Lucas Oil late models rained out all weekend, but that let some guys do a little bit of traveling. The World of Outlaw late models ran the Firecracker 100 at Lernerville both Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Brandon Shepard finally broke out of his quote-unquote slump, even though he's leading the point standings. He won on Thursday night. Brandon Overton maintained his status as the hottest late model driver in America. He won both Friday night and took home the 30 grand on Saturday night as well.
All right.
Yeah, outstanding racing. Bishop still maintains the point lead over Smoky Madden. Smoky Madden actually led, I think, 40 laps, something like that. Saturday night, it was one heck of a race. And in the Hell Tour is actually traveling through the Midwest right now.
All right.
Trying to fight the rain a little bit, but
Yep.
they ran LaSalle, they ran Sycamore.
Okay.
I think Brian Shirley picked up both of those mains on at Sycamore, and I don't know if you guys have ever run that track. It's a neat little track kind of by DeKalb, Illinois.
Yeah.
I may know the unofficial track record holder there.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I like that.
We actually ran a sprint car exhibition there once.
I like that.
Brian Shirley won, and Bobby Pierce ran second up there on, I think that was Saturday.
Great.
And then they got rained out. No, that was Friday, and then they got rained out on both Saturday and Sunday, unfortunately.
Local scene, what do we have? Friday night, Davenport, Donaldson, both rained out. Saturday, it was Maquoketa Speedway, 34 Raceway, and Independence, Iowa, all rained out. Sunday, Dubuque, Vinton, and had rained out, but East Moline was able to get them in. So great night for racing. Yeah. Hey, we want to let you know you can check out all the complete racing results at iowaracingnews.com. And Pat, we want people to share.
That's right. Make sure you like and share. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and also Spotify. Please, if you haven't already, like and share. Hit the like button. Smash the like button. I love saying that. Smash the like button and share. It helps us. It helps racing. And that's what we're here for, Shane. Like I like to say, we race all weekend so we can talk about it on Monday.
Good, good. Hey, before we get to our sponsor, Thursday night coming up this week, July 1st. That's Thursday. We're going to have the Summer Nationals Hell Tour rolling through Davenport Speedway. We'll also be running IMCA late models, modifieds, and street stock. Pit gates will open at 1 o'clock. Grandstands open at 4 o'clock. And we're going to have hot laps at 6:30. 5,000 win for the UMP late models. Adults are 25 to get in the front gate. Kids pit pass 20. Adult pit pass 40. And we're going to have fireworks after the races.
That's a double whammy.
July 4th win. I know, man.
That's a double whammy. I think
Gonna
they
be
run
great.
Wednesday night up in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. I love that track. And then Thursday night here.
All right. Today, for the very first time, we have a sponsor. Are your gutters clogged? Is your driveway getting dirty? Do you need something sprayed down? Look no further than Aquaman Power Washing, offering affordable detail pressure washing services that range from home to audio and commercial needs. Aquaman Power Washing, applying the pressure, and more on Aquaman later on in the show. So, Andy, you're our guest tonight. We are elated to have you here tonight. And last night, came home with a second-place run up at East Moline. Before they had that last restart, man, you pulled up next to Webb, going down the backstretch, you're side by side, and I thought, oh, boy, Gary knows he's up there now. And so when they had that last restart of the evening, you were running the center, he was on the bottom, he came in, and he took the center. And you being a gentleman, you moved up and gave him plenty of room.
Yep.
And
No, I knew I had one shot to get by him. I mean, when you're racing a crafty veteran like Gary, I mean, I showed him the nose, the yellow come out, and I'm like, well, that was the race. I mean, I was going to give her one more shot, but he moved up that half a car and got me up into the rougher stuff. He did exactly what any racer would have done. And
right.
I tell you what, though, it's impressive to watch. At 72, I still hope I'm walking, let alone
I know.
wheeling a car like he is. And, you know, he got that kryptonite going. Last year we were talking a little bit, and this year, and that thing's on kill.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to watch him go because you can tell he's calmer in the pits, but he's got the fire on the track. And he, you know, at 72, it's impressive. And I figured, you know, if there's nobody better to finish second too, and I figured the place might come over and burn me down if I passed him. So I figured probably no. I mean, he had me covered, no excuses. I mean, he had the fastest car. The fast guy won the race, and like I said, no guy better to finish second too. I've got all the respect in the world. When I moved down here and started racing at West Liberty in 2001, he would come over every night and talk to me, say, "Hey, good race." And he's been, you know, that was when he was calmer. You know, that was right after he won that national championship.
Right.
But Gary's been nothing but respectful. If I ever need something welded or whatever, he's, you know,
He's right there.
he's a great guy. So
hey, tell us, Andy, you started out up in Wisconsin, and you were running street stock up there initially?
yeah, so I'm from Ironwood, Michigan. So
Yeah.
raced out of Ironwood, Michigan, born and raised up there. My mom and dad are still up there. And raced at Ashland, Wisconsin. That was my home track.
Okay.
Raced up there in Superior, Cedar Lake, Marshfield had just shut down, but then we went up to Colby and all through that area. But yeah, I started with I built a brand new street stock between my freshman and sophomore year of college.
Wow.
It was an old 81 Monte Carlo
Yeah.
that I brought up to Pat Drake up on Eagle River, and we put that thing together. And third night out ever in the car, we won. So we were out in the middle of nowhere up in Colby, Wisconsin, and that track's no longer there. There's a interstate going through there now.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so we've I've been very fortunate. Like first time out,
Yeah.
we were up passing for second or third, not knowing any better. I spun the guy out, so a little bit over anxious, but you know it's fun. I guess it's an addiction that's
It is, Andy. I can
that
tell
I've been
you.
doing since I guess 1995 is when it was my first year.
You know, Pat and I sit here, and I mean, I'm not racing anymore. Haven't raced since 2000 or 2001, I think it was. Pat has still got a sprint car sitting in his garage.
Yes, I do.
So one of these days, you might surprise us, jump behind the wheel of that thing
You know, I
and
was
go for a
planning
ride.
on it Friday night.
Oh, you were.
I was.
And
I
we
was
got
planning
rained
on it
out.
Friday night, but
Yeah.
Mother Nature had other plans. So yeah, I got something in the works, and as soon as I get that taken care of, we're gonna get that car back out. So
Good.
I actually got a brand new car that we're putting together as a backup car. So
All right, man. I want to see that thing.
yeah, it's gonna.
All right. So, Andy, around here we're in IMCA country.
Yep.
And up there, is that Wissota
That's
country?
Wissota. Yep. So
Wissota,
I run
okay.
Wissota street stock for that year. Then next year, like I said, I had to go to an internship. So,
Yeah.
who's got me started in racing? Steve Budman Anderson. I used to go over there. My dad sponsored him. He had bread trucks and a barrel of fun chip route, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
sponsored a
I
lot of
remember that.
cars. And he had tasty bread and I used to ride my bicycle across town and paint wheels and paint bumpers, and that's kind of how I got started. And then I started going to the track, and then when I was in welding class, I built my race car trailer. I still have it. It's at my parents' house to haul the car, and that's really how I got started. And then
Oh, man.
he got married, had some kids, and he says, I still got this motor. You put a car together. So he gave me my first motor, and I've been spending money ever since.
Oh, man, I know how it goes. It's an addiction. I can tell you, it doesn't matter if you're, I've been out of it for all these years now, and you still got that desire out there watching these guys wheel them around the racetrack, and you're just like, man, that looks like a lot of fun.
Yep.
And so then you moved into the pro stock, what
Yep,
we
so-
would call pro stock.
Yeah, but
Andy.
pro stocks, which up there, it's a super stock. So
Okay,
I traded my street stock for an old leaf spring car.
okay.
It was a Zadroik square tube leaf spring car. I run that for a couple years, and I tell you, it was miserable. I was terrible.
Really?
I just I could never get it to go, but I didn't know really what I was doing. I wasn't good, and I'm like, man, I kind of got spoiled. I come out of the gate with that street stock, and we won quite a bit, and I think we ended up 7th or 8th in the national standings that year, as a rookie. So we did well, and then I come into that, and I took a year off, like I said, for college, and I come back, and I would work all week, and then I would drive up home, and I would race on Saturdays, work on a car on Sunday, then drive 7 hours back, and sometimes I'd leave at midnight, then just drive into work in the morning. But that's when I was younger and I could handle that. But I could never see doing that now.
Hey, if you got any questions for Andy, I want to make sure you type in a question you got, and we'll get to them, at some point in the show. And we're looking here. Okay. Hey, somebody says, how about Webb last night? So if you got any questions for Andy, let us know. And Andy, I've given a lot of race drivers nicknames. Do you have a nickname yet?
No, I mean, really, back home, I was just known as Nez. I mean, really.
That was it.
That was, kind of my dad's nickname, and just short for the last name. I mean, we talked a little bit. Matt Fulton gave me that nickname when I moved down here. So I raced, and then in 2001, I raced for Highland Phillips. He asked me to come and race. Actually, I was teammates with Fred Rimley.
Now, Andy, roll the clock back a little bit. The people that are out there right now, they hear Highland Phillips. Yep. But that was the Phillips brothers that always ran Mopars up in West Up in that market, and they had beautiful cars.
Yep.
And Steve Kepler drove one of the cars.
Steve Kepler drove Kevin's, which would have been his nephew. Yep.
So that's the Phillips story.
Yes.
And how do you hook up with them guys?
So, like I said, when I moved down here, so I was back and forth. I went to work for Genesis, and I met Fred Rimley there.
Yeah.
And he started driving for Highland.
Okay.
And he'd had drove previously for Kevin Phillips, where I keep my car now, and so I got to know Kevin, and then I got to know Highland just helping Fred because I needed my race car fixed down here when my race car was at home. So I'd go to West Liberty, and we were testing one day, and Fred had his personal car, and then he had Highland's car. They were testing at, I think it was Columbus Junction, and we turned a few laps, and then I was going to quit because I got sick of driving back and forth. I had just put a new body on my. So then I built 2 new super stocks back home 2 years in a row, and had a lot of success with those. I just got sick of driving.
Got rid of leaf springs,
and I went to coilover cars, and we were they're called affordable race cars out of Sauk Rapids, Minnesota.
Really? Okay.
And had a lot of success in those. And then I'm like, I can't do driving home anymore with work, and so I was going to put it up for sale, and I bought a new snowmobile. I'm like, I'm going to snowmobile. I'm going to relax. I literally had the snowmobile in the back of my truck. I bought it from that Mills Marine down in Muscatine in the fall. I went over there, and Highland says, hey, I got a motor and a drive chain. You supply a chassis. So that's how it started. So I got on the phone and called out the Masters Built, and I ordered a new B car when Steve Boley was winning all those races when he had that 26 car, and he won a ton of races, not just
Alpin
around here,
Ford.
but he had a big Ford in it, and when he raced for Ron Elpin, and
Yeah.
so I ordered a B car, and Fred and a bunch of us put that thing together in like 3 weeks, and then we went out and put a big. Never been in a late model. Put an open motor in it with a 390 on it. Went out to West Liberty. Now that's a big fast racetrack.
Big change, man.
But that's back when there was 40, 50 cars at a weekly show. We were running 2 B main features with Ray Gus Jr. and Boley would come in and out every so often. And there
wasn't anybody slow up there.
No. If you made the feature, I was happy.
It was
we
a good
made
night.
the feature the first night. We passed Matt Furman actually to get in the show, but yeah, that was. If you were on the front stretch at West Liberty, you did something.
Yeah, funny thing about Liberty was they, it was one of those tracks where back in the day, Davenport Speedway is the hot track right now, but back in the day, Liberty was the place to be.
Well, that was the event. We used to call it the
event,
man. It was kind of like everything shuts. Like when there's a Packer game back home, the whole town shuts down, man. When they're
hold it. He said the dirty word.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about the small town racetracks like that. But you know what? If you jumped right in on a big track, so tell us about that. Tell us about like your first time. So was it the first time in that car? Was at West
first
Liberty
time I ever turned a lap in that car, a late model period.
Wow.
So it was a little nerve wracking, but you know what? It's like anything. It's like it's riding a bicycle just faster. Yeah. So I mean, once you got in it, but I tell you what, I hated that car. I'm not gonna lie. That thing would go like heck one week. I'd wash it, and it was terrible the next. It was the most.
Shouldn't washed it.
It was the most inconsistent car I ever had, and man, there was nights I just wanted to drive that thing into the. But
Come on, Andy, tell us how you really
Oh, I hated
Right.
that thing. But you know how, if you ever notice, you don't go in on the high side in 3 in West Liberty. I learned that the third night out. I'm
Oh,
like,
man.
why is everybody going in so slow in the bottom? Well, young kid, I hauled her off in there on the top, and there went the rear clip.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, in the
Man.
fence.
That, they got like a shelf up high.
Oh,
and
yeah.
man, all of a sudden you get off the bank and you get on that shelf, and it's like, baby, hang on.
Yeah, oh
'cause-
yeah, we cranked the wall. So
Yeah.
old Tony Stewart fixed it for us. We went down there and he pulled it over. That down in Washington, but yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You know what? I'm going to tell you what. Back in the day, old Tony Stewart, he was the hot ticket.
Yeah, they
drove
said.
number 17. He had like these 421, motors they're putting in those things. And I believe back in that day, they had made an agreement with the local bank in Washington, Iowa, where you could go there and finance and get a brand new late model and make payments on it.
Okay.
I mean,
Wow.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's
That's my
something
kinda-
I'll
that's my
never
kinda
do.
bank right
Never
there.
doing racing.
Yeah.
That won't pan out.
Oh boy. Hey, here we go. Somebody says dirty word, and he put the Bears. So, hey, and if you guys come up with a nickname for Andy, remember I'm going to be over there behind the mic Thursday night at Davenport. So, you give us a nickname, get it posted on there, and we'll see what we can do. So, Andy, let's ask you your best moment in racing to date. What would that be? Because you've had a lot of good moments.
Yeah, I think probably that first feature's pretty hard to beat back.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun. I mean, there was probably at any given night 6 to 12 of my close high school buddies, and we were all within 4 or 5 years of age, and
Yeah.
we all went to the racetrack. I mean,
Oh, man.
and we just had so much fun. Sometimes we'd leave on Friday and not come home till Sunday.
Sure.
It's
living the life,
and to
though.
have all your buddies not really have a care in the world. I mean, we'd work all day, and then we go work on the car all night, and we might even indulge in a couple of beverages later that night.
All right.
But we had a lot of fun, and I
Yeah.
think that was it's hard to beat that first win, but I mean, there's a lot of other ones, but that first win's probably was pretty
Probably the one.
exciting.
Okay. Now, Mom and Dad got to be Packers fans too. Then.
Oh yeah,
Oh my God. You know what,
Packer
Pat?
fan of Detroit Red Wings.
Make a note. We got to ask a question before we invite anybody on the show.
That should be a
If they're-
checkbox.
That's
wouldn't it?
right. Checkbox.
Yeah.
Packers fan. They're no good.
Yeah,
And the Red Wings.
yeah.
You know, Andy, I was just starting to like you
Yeah,
too.
let's-
Yeah, right.
mean-
Come on.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is, you got to feel pain for Pat and I. We've had like 28 quarterbacks in the last, 15 years
We've
or
had 2.
20 years, and the Packers have had 2.
Did you hear him
They're
go
trying
right,
to work
right for
on
the
3
right
right
for the
now. You don't know
jugular?
what old
I know.
Aaron's going to
You
do.
just don't
Right
know.
for the jugular.
Yeah, well,
I mean, when's the drop dead date? Like July
don't know.
1st or?
Oh, he's not going anywhere.
You know it. You know what he
not
did?
going
He's
anywhere.
just teasing the Bears fans.
That's right.
We're sitting
That's
there
right.
saying, "Oh my God, we got a chance. There's hope."
Yeah.
And then he's just gonna stick it to us like he does every year.
If he really wanted to stick it to the Packers, he would come play for the Bears.
Yeah,
I'm
wouldn't
just
that
kind of
nice?
like Favre went to the Vikings. They thought they.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, he made it all the way to the championship game.
That's right.
And you remember that year, New Orleans had the pay-for-play deal.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
they were paying players X amount of money. If you take out Favre, man, they took him out.
Yeah.
And
No,
he won a lot of games.
I have a ton of respect for the Packers. Somehow my son ended up a Packers fan. How, I'm not sure. I think I dropped him on his head when he was.
Something happened.
Oh, you know what though? So we joke about Bears, and we'll get back to racing. But I've gotten so frustrated with the Bears that I actually told him last year, "That's it. I quit. I'm going to transfer." And so I said, "You know what? I'm officially going to become a Packers fan." So he gives me crap about it every single day.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? Part of being a Bears fan and a Cubs fan, hey, we won the World Series in 16. But really, all the bandwagon jumpers have jumped back off, and the people that are watching the Cubs right now are true Cubs fans. And
Yep.
I love the Cubs, and we've been to St. Louis games, we've been to Cubs games. Whenever the Cubs are playing down in St. Louis, and we enjoy that stuff.
Yeah.
So, Andy, what would you say would be your worst moment in racing?
Oh man.
We've all had
There
bad
was-
nights.
There was multiple times, like I guess a good note, but is I finally won that track championship a few years ago, but there was multiple times, multiple years back home in Ashland that I just won my first title there 3 years ago at Makokata, but it was, leading, going in halfway through the feature,
Yeah.
flat tire, break something. It just seemed like it would never come. You know, it would just never come. And I think those were you put all that heart and soul and effort into it, and then just something $5 part normally costs you those championships. But you know what? We just come back at her and try
come back
again.
and do it again.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember,
and I think that's kind of why we decided on the calling the show True Grit, is because if it's easy, everybody do it.
Yeah, it's a humbling sport.
It is, and it really takes that grit, that determination to stick with it when it's like when you go, it'd be so easy to throw up your hands and say, you know what, Uncle, you win, you win here. That's it. I'm selling everything.
Hey, somebody here's got the Buffalo Bandit. That's our first nickname. We're gonna look at all these after the show, and we'll pick one out.
I'm not in Buffalo no more. So
Yeah, you're not in Buffalo. Where you at now, Andy?
I moved to Bluegrass.
Bluegrass.
Yeah, so
it's going to have to be the Bluegrass Bandit then.
It's been
there you go.
Daryl Lanigan, ain't that what they call him?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I
But
think so.
it's been busy spring. We bought a different house and moved, and
Very nice.
Man.
so it's been busy. We're finally getting settled in. We're trying to get everything ready because we're having Garrett graduated, so we have that coming up here in a few weeks. His graduation party. All the family's coming down. So
And where is he going to college?
he's going to go to St. Ambrose.
Okay.
Locust Street University.
He
There
got a
you go.
scholarship.
That's what we're calling him.
That's what.
Hey, a
That's
degree
what
is
we
a
joke
degree.
with him, but no,
There you go.
LSU.
Look
But
at that.
so that was back
Very
when he
nice.
was playing travel
Yeah.
ball. I mean that
Very
was
nice.
when they won one of their titles.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's cool to see. Like I tell everybody,
Sure.
I race a lot, but your kids are only gonna be young once, and we
right.
spend a lot of time doing that, and that's why we backed it down a little bit. He's only a senior once. It just sucks. He was pitching there a few weeks ago and tore a tendon in his right elbow. We just got that diagnosis this week, but he'll come back. He's going to go play, at Ambrose. Coach is on board.
Very cool.
He's going to pitch for them, and he's going to go into mechanical engineering. So,
Very cool.
So, Andy, does that mean Tommy John surgery for him?
So we're
Or do we
gonna.
know yet?
They got him in a brace.
Okay.
They're going to wait 6 weeks, do some physical therapy.
All right.
They think they can get it to heal, but if not, that's probably what it
That's
would
what
be.
we're going to do. Which we have a lot of players in the MLB that
That's right.
have had it. They come back.
That's what
and,
he wants right away, because then he's like, "Oh, I can throw faster." I'm like, I don't think that's really what you want.
Yeah, they got that down to a science
Yeah,
now that,
but I
that
think it's
they
so-
can fix it, and it doesn't hardly is a speed bump in
Yeah,
even
so
a young
everybody-
kid's career. So.
We were very concerned. I mean, it's just heartbreaking for him because they've got a good team, this year. And I mean, that's all he wanted to do was, he sat there and said, that's all I really want to do is take my team to the state, but said, hey, now you got to be a coach and a cheerleader. I
Yep.
mean, that's
Yeah.
what you got to do. And there's a lot of things in life that aren't fair, and this is just one of many. So
Yeah.
you're going to have to,
Yep.
suck it up and deal with it. You hate to be that way, but that's
Yeah.
just life. you
Yep,
know?
I hear you. I actually have two sons, and that's why when I'm not on the show, it's we actually are supposed to be having our league all-star game tonight.
Okay.
But fortunately, it got rained out. I actually had that
Dad, don't
put off
say
on
that on
somebody
the
else.
air.
I know, right? And I have an older son that was that tore his rotator cuff
Okay.
at PV. He was a catcher at PV.
Yeah, no, they're playing Muscatine now. They were
killed
up
them.
3-1 when I left. I cooked about 10, 20 burgers, some tenderloins and brats,
Oh, my
and
God.
got everything
Very
going
nice.
and watched the first 4 or 5 innings, and then I scooted over here from the complex. So hopefully
Very
they
nice.
won their first one. We got doubleheader tonight if the rain holds off. So
All right. Hey, where did your number come from, Andy? Number 7. That's my favorite number.
so 7 comes from way race. So it was actually my hockey number, but
Okay.
it actually goes back farther, which I found out later, which is kind of neat. Is my dad's uncle, Jerry Corder, raced years back the old Coops,
Oh,
and he was
man.
number 7.
Oh,
And we have
man.
some old VCR tapes that we watched that it's pretty neat. So
Yeah.
they used to, he won a lot of races, and he actually died of Lou Gehrig's disease.
Oh, boy.
But I really didn't get to know him. He was already in a wheelchair, but my dad told me he was a great guy, and he was he was a wheelman back in the day. He actually had 2 cars, but I think 7 and 11.
Okay.
But he ran at number 7, and so that there's a little history there where the 7 come
Yeah.
from, and like I said, I played hockey all through high school, and up through travel hockey, and it was 7. But yeah, there's a little racing history,
Little
I
history
guess.
there.
Yep. So that's
Yeah.
where it came
That-
from,
yeah.
and I was 7 all the time, other than a few years there through. Fred and I raced together, and it was 47. We put our numbers
Right.
together.
Very
Hey,
cool.
Wilk, do we have a picture of that 47 car?
Yes, we do.
All right.
While he's pulling that up, please, viewers online, please make sure you like and share smash the like button. Also share it. We're both on Facebook and on YouTube. If you have not shared it yet, please do so. It helps us all out.
Hey, so Andy, we got a question here. 47. There we go. We got the 47, and we're going to ask you while we're looking at that beautiful car. How is the tire shortage affecting Andy?
I've got enough.
You've got enough. Now, when they talked about nagging groove the tires, is that just mods?
Just mods,
Just
not
mods.
late models. Yep.
Okay.
So, yep. So I bought a few here, a couple, 3, 4 last week, a few more this week. So I'm good on tires right now. So
Oh man,
I
that's
don't,
great.
I don't want to come up short. I got a few.
Did
Now,
it kill you
Pat-
seeing the pictures of all of the tires left behind at the Dream
Oh, yeah.
last
It's
week?
crazy, ain't
Did
it?
you see that infield?
Yeah.
I
Wow.
mean, just crazy.
And I realize there are different tire rules, but
Yep.
Andy, the 47 car, so that's the car you're talking about.
Yep. That's
car.
old. That's So I got rid of that B car I told you I hated, and I bought this car brand new in 2005. It was a smack car.
Okay.
And night and day difference. I raced that car for 10 years.
Wow.
So that car, that was the 9th year on it there, where Fred and I got together and we raced that car. I raced it mainly, and he raced it a little bit, but it was his motor and then my car.
Okay.
And we raced it that year. Then the next year, it was actually black with fluorescent yellow. We went down and raced it. That car that year, and the other year, we went down and raced that Tuckasee Toilet Bowl Classic.
Yeah.
Fred put his open motor in it. So.
All right.
Yeah, that's my old smack car right there. So I raced that for 10 years.
very cool.
All right. What do we got here? Dave Walden's watching right now, and Chris Andrews says, "It's been Nezzy forever. Don't change it now." So maybe I just needed to learn that.
There you
There
go.
you go.
And start calling you Nezzy. All right. And Slim Roberts says hello. Gus Grip says hello. A lot of people in there watching right now, so that's
Good
good.
deal.
All right, so Andy, what's your favorite racetrack? I mean, you run half mile, quarter mile. Do you prefer the short track to the big track, and why?
I like the quarter to 3/8 because it's more elbows up racing. You know, I mean, those big half miles there's a lot of speed,
Yeah.
but if you don't pass in the first couple laps, it gets pretty stretched out, especially with the more restricted motors. But even with the open motors, I mean, I like the action. It's hard to. Like back home, ABC is where I grew up in Ashland, Wisconsin. So it's a 3/8 semi-banked red clay.
Yeah.
And that's really what I grew up on, and that I love that track. And I go back. I went back with my IMC spec motor a couple times against the Wasota guys, but you're given about 50 to 80 horse.
And that's a lot.
So
That is
really,
huge.
my next step is what I'm hoping to do in the next year or two. Is I'd really like to get me a Wasota motor because you can run that in that Melbourne Bank now, or that Hoker,
right.
truck
Okay.
stuff. So, because that's really what I enjoy doing is go back home. I have a lot of friends back home. Like I said, my parents are there, and they have a lot of specials that are fun, and it's not that
Sure.
far. I mean, 7 hours away.
That ain't bad at all.
I mean, that's
Really
that's
not bad
not-
at all.
So you say ABC's your favorite track back home?
Yep.
What would you say your second favorite track is? You
um,
mentioned a couple of them.
I would say that's fun. If I'm going back home, Cedar Lake's a blast.
I love
Cedar
Lake.
Lake's fun. Raced there quite a bit, and and then really around here, I mean, a lot of people don't like it, and I was disappointed when they did cut us from racing. But Makokata, I couldn't.
No kidding.
Now that track there, I didn't care what I did to my cars. It just fit my style.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always good there and enjoyed racing there. I mean, I like East Moline. I like Davenport.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I like all these quarters, but that just seems like I can do nothing wrong at Makokata. But I think back home it's ABC and Cedar Lake. I raced Superior a lot. Superior
Nice.
was fun, but I like when it's slow or slick. I don't mind the speed, but I just want to be able to race. You know what I mean?
Alright.
Give us 2-3 grooves, and Ricky now really try hard across the street up here. And, what I mean? That last time we raced there a couple Fridays ago, we were 3 wide. You know what I mean? That's all you can ask for.
That's all you
then
can ask for.
Then it's up to us. It's up to us and the setup guy and the driver. You
Yeah.
know, and
So do you see a lot of the similarities when you're talking like Cedar Lake to Makokata?
no, there's a lot
Setup-wise?
more speed at Cedar Lake. Cedar Lake's bigger.
Yeah. A little bit higher bank.
Higher bank. There's a lot more, and it's more clay. There's a lot of sand up in Makokata.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun up there.
We got a little sponsor we got to read here. Our friends from Under the Waves have been sponsoring this episode of True Grit Podcast. And with all the dirt and grit under our wonderful Sportsters Up, the guys at Aquaman Power Washing are deciding to get their job done right. So starting today is the Aquaman American Sale. Until July 12th, they're giving you 25% off any wash. And if you mention Done Right or the True Grit Podcast, they'll throw in an extra 10%, so that's 35% off their regular prices. The services Aquaman can do for you are, but not limited to, houses, decks, patios, driveways, sidewalks, mobile homes, office buildings, storefronts, restaurants, gutters, boats, cars, haulers, and trailers. The Aquaman have the best affordable detailed pressure washing in the Quad Cities, and they are not afraid to apply the pressure. Check out the Aquaman Facebook page. Links above on Facebook or on the description for YouTube. Just simply type in Aquaman. And you can call at 563-594-8030. And again, that's 563-594-8030. So getting back to racing fuel today is running $9-10 a gallon, Andy. But you are running the 85.
Correct.
Tell me about what you got to do to run E85. I mean, now when we say E85 for the people who are out there listening that don't know that, I mean, you just roll up to the gas pump and pump E85. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we test it, to make sure it's at 85 because there's a lot of, I think it can be down to 70%.
Oh, boy.
I think that's what they're allowed down to 70. So a lot of the gas stations are in that lower 70, especially in the wintertime. So we got to do a little, searching around. There's a few that have it right there around 85. So it's 85% ethanol.
Wow.
5%, just gas. And we're working with the Iowa corn producers. They got us a couple free barrels of straight ethanol that we can mix with premium.
Okay.
So they're really trying to support that.
That's very cool.
Actually, the last barrel I had, Gary found it because he put his crate motor in his red car, or his yellow car.
Yeah.
And he needed some ethanol, and he came by, got a barrel, went out, got it, delivered it back. So I mean, it's nice that we can all work together. And he's like, I was talking to a friend from the ethanol plant. He says, out here at this FS, it's good. So he come out to the shop and grabbed a barrel and delivered it back, and so that's what's in the car now. So actually,
what do you see to run that stuff?
Go ahead.
I mean, you're talking about you got to run a bigger fuel line, you got to run a different pump. What do you got to do?
Nothing much. I mean,
just the carburetor's different.
Yeah. So the big cost to me was so obviously carburetor,
right?
Which actually the carburetor I had the first year I had the crate motor. I put it on gas.
All right.
Because the membrane inside the fuel cell wasn't made for alcohol or ethanol.
Okay.
And in those fuel cells in those rocket cars, they run an ATL cell, but they're pretty pricey. So I ended up waiting until I ended up buying. I sold mine and then I bought one. So that was really because they were almost $3,000, about $3,200 for that fuel cell.
Wow.
So I sold mine and had a new guy buy it when he didn't need the ethanol one. So I bought one and then I converted the 85 last year. Heck, first time I filled up, it was 97 cents a gallon.
Wow. Hey, that's
so
a good price for racing
it
fuel.
since went up now. It's about breaking us. I think it's $2.19. But I mean, that's the way I look at it. And that's a pit pass or 2 pit passes a night. And I mean, we know that the promoters can't pay us no more, so we have to figure out a way to make it more economical. And that crate motor, say what you want, between that crate motor and E85 makes it. I mean, we're still only racing for $600-700. Like that's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money what you have invested. You know what I mean? So we got to find ways to make it more economical, and that's what I chose to do, and it's worked well. I mean, it's really those were the 2 things I changed, and that was it. I run the same fuel pressure as regular gas, same pump, everything.
Same everything. So last year, when I was watching the guys run the crate motors, it looked to me like you had a little bit of a disadvantage. Mm-hmm. We come out opening night this year. Did you win opening night over at Davenport?
Yep.
So when I seen that, I said, and Randy Anderson told me you're running E85, and I said, my God, that might be, just what they were looking for.
Yeah, they allowed them to go to methanol this year also.
Okay.
They can run alcohol, but I chose to stay with the 85 for the cost, and I have everything. I got 2 carburetors, so
wow.
I figured that's where I'm going to stay. And I know like a track where it's a little stop and go, we might give up a little bit, but it's just it's as close as I ever could see getting a motor rule to work. Like
Yeah.
you've always seen where they do this motor rule. It seems like there's always a pretty distinct advantage.
Right.
But I would have to say the way they did it this way, IMCA did it, they got it right. I mean, they did it with the pucks, and if it wasn't right, it's a $30 or $40 change in it. But I mean, I think we're close. I mean,
Good.
we're all going to lobby for more. I mean, that's just
Yeah,
a natural
that's-
racer.
that's a
But-
racer. Yeah.
But I mean, in all honesty, they got it right. You know.
Randy Meter says, "What's up, Andy?" And let's see, Randy Meter, yeah. What's up, Andy? N. Yeah,
Dave says that Dad is watching.
Okay,
Yep, there's my dad. Yep.
I like that. All right, so it looked like it was a big equalizer, and then as far as the cost of motors, I remember when Jeff Morris was running Open Motors, and he had like a $34,000 engine bill one year.
Yep, he broke a bunch of them that last year.
Broke a bunch of them that year. And then they ended up got his credit card out and ordered a crate motor and stuck in the car. And he had the initial cost of buying the crate distributor, fan, headers, all the toys you got to have on it. But literally, he said the maintenance was just nothing.
Well, I mean, it's
So Andy, what do you have for maintenance?
so on the motor, it's not much. That's what's great about it is, I mean, it's pretty much I change oil filter every 3 nights, and I
Okay.
change oil filter and oil every 6 nights.
And what do you run for oil in those?
I just run Mobil 1 right from Walmart. That's the 1540
Right.
synthetic, and I
When
run
it's on sale.
Yep, when it's on sale for 20-some bucks for 5 quarts, and I go to Green Buick GMC, one of the guys that sponsor me, and I get 2 cases of the AC Delco filters for $3 a piece, and
Oh man.
that's what I
Nice.
do. And then every 20-some nights, Todd takes care of us. At Dynamic Power, he's been great for us.
Sure.
with the crate motor repair stuff, we haven't had to do much, which is great. But I mean, I'll
Valve
probably drop
springs
it
or
off
what?
this week, or he'll come out to the shop.
Yeah.
And he'll put valve springs on it for us. He treats
Okay.
us well. So I mean,
How many nights do you get out of a set of valve springs?
about 20-25 nights, and
That's
they're
really all you
whopping,
want.
I think, $80 or $90
Okay.
versus
Yeah,
$600,
that breaks the bank,
$700.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I bought that motor from Greens right out of the crate. I think with tax and everything, it was just over $6,000.
Yeah.
You have a tag, it's $200-300 from IMCA. I put it in. We went to Florida and raced. I raced all this year. I haven't had a valve cover off it.
All right.
Wow.
I mean, that's what. So I mean, with baseball and just life in general, it takes one more thing that you can work on the race car, get it faster. You don't have to worry about setting valves and I mean, it's
All the
just
maintenance we had on the old motors.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, Wilk, I don't know if we got a picture of East Bay Raceway, but you went to East Bay this
Yep.
past winter. Tell us a little bit about that, Andy.
So that was always on. There it was. So it was always on my bucket list. I've watched it every year. You get the bug, and I'm like, before I die, I'm gonna race in Florida.
Oh man.
But I can never justify. I want to go down there with a chance, and going down there racing against Bishop and all those guys.
Ain't gonna happen.
It's not going to happen. So you're just going down there to be a field filler, and that's no fun. So I'm like, this crate deal, that's another reason I like it. I mean, you can race Georgia, you can race anywhere. And my father-in-law said, you know what? Let's get a motor. He says, let's put a new motor in that thing, and we're going to go. So we made it a fan. We went down a week early. My father and I drove down. And we watched East Bay, the big guys, and hung out with them. And then Kevin Phillips drove the car down on the weekend, and wife and kids flew down after work. And we went to Busch Gardens and actually vacationed the first half, and
man.
then we raced the second half. I mean, the results weren't great. It was definitely a learning curve. That East Bay is a different animal.
Different animal there.
With the tide and everything, the way they say it comes in, it affects the track. They're not lying, and I mean that. For a little quarter-mile track, I run a West Liberty gear at East Bay. If that tells you anything. That's how fast that
You believe
place
that,
is.
Pat?
Wow.
My
That
God.
place is fast.
That is something.
I mean, a lot of wheel spin, but it's fast. I mean, and it's so I built that brand new car to go down there. I mean, everything was new. I've been saving and buying stuff for 2-3 years. I sold my other car.
Sure.
And Mark and the guys took care of me out there, and Kurt up CRE, and I buy my cars through him, the rocket dealer there up in Tiffin, and we built that car new, and really everything on that thing was new other than the seat.
Wow.
And we went down there, we made it one straightaway, and we got wrecked. we took the green flag. The guy I timed in fourth quick in my group. Started fourth row outside. Went in the first corner. The front row spun and I hit the fence. And here come the last place car and KO'd the left side flat tire.
Boom.
So made one straightaway before we broke it in. But you know what? That's racing and
Yeah.
car shows are over. So it was time to go. There wasn't a straight panel on her when we come back from East Bay. When they say how that tears up cars.
Yeah.
You see my car now, it's got the East Bay body on it.
Yeah, that's okay.
But you know what? I think we're going to, I mean, if all goes well this year and we got a good car left, I think we're going to try and go again next year. It's only going to be around 2-3 more years.
Right.
We're going that big pile of whatever that white stuff is they got there from drywall or whatever it is. That I think they bought that area.
Yeah.
But if you've never been down there, it's a cool place. It's
Okay.
not, it's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But, you know,
ain't nothing wrong with that.
It was fun. We had a lot of fun. You know,
Good.
we learned a lot. I know what to do different next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully the results pan out better.
All right.
But you know, we'll see.
So
All
did
right.
you make a lot of notes when you were down there?
Yeah, we tested. We tested very well, but I think we're just too tight all week. You know, and we finally got it freed up at the end, and then we had some bad luck, and you know, then it seemed like some of it's luck. I mean, they can do a little more to their crate motors, so they can blueprint them and everything. So we're giving up a little. I mean, that's when all things are equal, that's something. But we still weren't fast
Nice.
either. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We raced well. We qualified well. It's just we didn't pass a lot of cars. I mean, we just were too tight. So I think we got a lot of notes in the notebook, what to do, what not to do.
So
You
tell
know.
tell the local guys, because I think most of our racing audience is from right around here. Tell us a little bit, expand a little bit more on what you're talking about, like when the tide comes in, how that affects the racetrack compared to what we run into on a weekend night here.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll qualify and you'll race like almost in your feature trim, and then later in the night it'll get hammered down heavier. You know, it's like it just
The
that's where
opposite.
that's where we would miss it. You know,
Yeah.
I'd tighten up like around here. You tighten up. I mean, there's not a lot of. I mean, if one thing that this area will really teach you is how to drive on a slick racetrack.
Right.
It gets really slippery around here, and that ain't the case down there.
Oh, boy.
It's hammered down wide open, and if there's almost enough room, they just go. They drive a little more aggressive down there. So I mean,
Yeah.
if I go back down there, I don't think I'll have a new body on the car. Let's put it that way.
Andy, I want to ask you, I like food. Maybe you haven't noticed.
Strawberry shortcake.
Strawberry shortcake, what's the story?
Oh, it's good.
It's
Yeah,
good, ain't
Yep,
it?
it's very good. Strawberry shortcake. Yep. There's a place at the track. Then there's also a place we found that's got real good strawberry shortcake.
So,
Nice.
Pat, you like strawberry
Oh, I
shortcake?
love it. Love it.
Gotta
With
go
ice,
East Bay
a little
then.
extra, they put ice cream on
I've
it.
heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard
Yeah.
that.
So, no, we had a blast. I mean, it was one of those things that I've always wanted to do. We got it done, and you know, like I said, results didn't pan out, but it was fun.
So tell me about so that was obviously, you kind of pointed out, that was on your bucket list.
Yep.
What other race would be? So if I came down and said, hey, Andy, I like you, buddy. Here's a blank check. I want you to put something to go together to run your dream race, to a bucket list race. Doesn't matter where it is. Where would it be?
You know, I think I would. You know, most people would probably say put an oat motor in, go to Eldora or something. You know, which that'd be fun to go oat motor racing. But I think I would put a Wasota motor together and go run like back home, like the Red Clay Classic. To win that Red Clay Classic would be the deal. That's their
Big deal.
big
Very
race
cool.
at the end of the year back home. And you go there, they got Superior. There's a bunch of stuff in Rice Lake. I've won the Labor Day shootout in Rice Lake with my super stock. I swept the whole weekend there.
Wow.
Back in the day.
Very
So
cool.
that's a high banked. It's a similar to like a Maquoketa. So
Okay.
if somebody said, you know, what would you want to do? I'd buy me a Wasota motor, and you know, it's different tires, and I'd go
Yeah.
back home and race around that area.
Man,
Very
that'd be
cool.
nice.
You know,
Very
I'd still
cool.
go up there with my open Pete Parker.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need the big fancy hauler. I mean, yeah, I'd love to have one, but you know what? That Parker's a lot easier to go to the car wash, and you go down the road 90 mile an hour.
Andy, you're a man after my heart. You know, I sit there, I look guys like Jeff Morris and Gary Webb come wheeling in. They
Yep.
got the open trailers. And, you know, I remember as a kid, you know, Mom and Dad, we'd be running down the interstate, and we were usually racing a lot ourselves anyway. But, well, you'd see a race car on a trailer, and you're like, Dad, I want to go to the races. And today, you know, you got the big old, you know, enclosed haulers and the stacker trailers and the toter homes and all that stuff. But, and I'm not knocking anybody that has that stuff. If you have it, you know, I'm happy for you.
Exactly. Yep.
But it doesn't do anything to attract more people. And what we're trying to do with this show and, what we do with the pay-per-view is attract more people to the sport of racing and grow the sport. And I can see the numbers ticking up. I can see the car counts ticking up. And so, I'm not going to tell you to go out and sell your toter and your stacker and, buy an open trailer. But I really appreciate, seeing Webb, yourself, Morris, people like that roll in with the open trailers.
Yep. No, it's like I said, I wouldn't. I mean, when we went down to Florida, sponsor mine bar, I borrowed 28-foot enclosed because I didn't want to pull through the salt. But
Right.
I mean, that's about the only downfall. If you're going to go south, you almost got to borrow an enclosed trailer because I don't want to pull through the salt. But other than that, it's on and off and car wash. But yeah, that's
One of my questions was going to be, tell us something that we didn't know about you. When you talked about hockey, you played hockey, Andy.
Yep.
And see, I didn't know that. What position did you play?
defense.
Really?
Nice.
Yep. No,
And-
I played all the way. It was kind of like travel baseball around here. Travel hockey went.
Big.
It was big. Right. Ever since I could barely walk, I skated all the way up through Mite Squirts. Traveled. Dad coached that all the way up through, and then
good.
I went and
Very nice.
played high school, first team all conference my senior year. So yeah, I mean, little younger and slender me, but yeah.
But that's impressive. But you know what? So let me tell you. So one of my favorite quotes. I'm a big hockey fan too, even though he's a Red Wings fan. But so, Shane, what's the most famous dancing couple of like our parents' generation?
Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers.
Right? So
Okay.
Fred Astaire is commonly known as probably the best male dancer.
Yeah.
He and Gene Kelly probably, right?
Right.
I heard a quote that I love, and I'm going to apply this to you too here in just a second. Ginger Rogers would always say that she never got the credit that she deserved because she did everything that Fred Astaire did backwards. That's one of the things that I love about defensive men is
Yep.
not only are they phenomenal skaters, they do everything backwards.
Oh,
Yep.
no kidding.
Because offense goes this way, defense goes this
Yep.
way.
You always
So
gotta
they
keep
play
the
the
play
whole
in front
game
of you.
backwards. That's right.
Oh,
That's
man.
right.
No, I played all the way through, and then I coached some kids when I went to college up Ferris.
Yeah.
Some travel teams up there, and I actually coached when I first moved down here, downtown Davenport. There, I
Very
coached
cool.
some of the leagues. It just got to be too busy, but it's one thing that I don't do anything anymore. But you know, I still enjoy the game. It's just
Oh, no kidding.
no time.
I know.
You know.
Yeah, you can only do so much. And I said, man, last year was kind of a weird year with the COVID. And,
Yep.
we opened up at Davenport Speedway. We got nobody in the stands. You got 165 cars in the pits, and the governor said, hey, you can have 10 pit crew members.
Yeah.
And so
There was a lot.
I just thought,
It was
wow, I'm
great.
glad we got that drive-in property over there on the
Yeah,
other end of the
it was
fairgrounds.
awesome.
But one of the things I like about Davenport, too, is they're constantly fixing stuff up. They're renovating the bathrooms. They're putting in a new scoreboard. They put the new stage in.
Yep.
Now they put that new entrance in down on the east
Yep.
end of the property.
Yep.
And coming next, and by the way, they're going to do something else to the road that's there right now.
Yeah.
They put that ground up asphalt
It's a little rough
in there.
going
a
in
little
now.
rough right now.
A little rough going in.
So beyond that, they're going to put a new sound system down the pit area. So if you're down the pits, your buddy's out there racing, you'll be able to hear me announcing and be able to hear what's
they're-
going on the racetrack. So
They're doing great there. I think Sean does a great job, putting back in it. And like I said, with getting Ricky and Brenda back, to
I mean, that
promote.
was-
They're true racers at heart. They're doing it because they love racing, not to make money, right?
Right.
And hopefully they make a little bit so they can keep going. But
sure.
they spend a lot of time getting that track, and the car count shows. I mean, you provide a good track and a fair racing surface. You're going to get cars, and it's close to home. It pays well.
Yeah, you got to go there.
Yeah.
Well, and anytime you can get, and I think you talked about it earlier, anytime you can get a nice wide racing surface with multiple grooves,
Yep.
and I think most people don't realize the amount of time that goes into track preparation.
Yep.
So it's nice to hear a tip of the hat. To
And
them.
it's an educated guess. I mean, you're not going to get
Right.
we don't get set up right every week, and they're trying stuff every week, and it
They
was
are.
rough.
Yeah.
It was rough 2 weeks ago, but they had the tractor pull. They tried some stuff, and what
I
do you
don't
do?
know.
It was rough testing there last week, but you know what? Ricky come over. I seen him last night at East Moline. He was over there sheepsfooting and working on it last night,
Right.
yesterday afternoon. So, hey, all you can
Yeah.
do is ask them to work on it and make it better, and they are. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yep.
all you can ask for. If if it was easy, like you say, everybody doing it, the track was the same and make it easy.
It
Well,
would.
then it'd make it boring running the
Yeah.
same place every Saturday or every Friday night.
Correct.
I get that from a lot of people. They say, "Oh, you run there. That's the only place that you run." Doesn't that get boring? Non-racers, and it's like, no, it's a completely different racetrack week
That's
after
right.
week.
Yeah,
after
I mean,
week.
I've won 3 features this year with 3 completely different setups, and half the shocks and springs were different. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So that's just, some stuff that,
Nice.
I don't know, that's probably hurts me sometimes, but I guess that's the engineer in me. I'm always trying to get something that's dominant. What's good enough is not good enough, and
That's great.
That's
Gotta make it right.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you always know there's a little more, so,
Yep.
and sometimes it hurts me. I think my wife gets mad at me, but
I love Cheryl.
you know what? Yeah, you know what you do. Like I said, I go there to win every week, and sometimes obviously we don't, but we're gonna try.
You're blessed because you look at some of the greats like Ronnie Wheaton and Dee Wheaton,
Mm-hmm.
and you look at Cheryl. You got a wife that is, I mean, she's 110% into racing.
Yep.
And
there
if
she
you ever,
is.
you don't get the ability to sit behind her up in the stands.
Well, you'll
but-
hear her.
Oh my
You can
God.
probably hear her from where
That's
you're now.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
I can hear her from where I'm down in the infield.
Yeah.
So.
With the cars going around.
That's outstanding.
She's 100% behind it. Some days it's frustrating because it does take away a lot, but deep down I know she likes it, and I couldn't do it without her and the support. I mean, because she takes care of a lot of stuff, and I got to go work on the race car. She's at the baseball game tonight, so I can
Sure.
go do stuff like this. But it's a team effort. That she really supports me on that end. You know what I mean? And
That's outstanding.
Now you had a red car. Now you got a black car. What prompted the change in colors on the car? By the way, I love both the cars.
Yep. So the red car is I bought that. So I bought that. That was the first XR1 I had right there. So the year
Beautiful.
before, it's a little bit. It was all red, but I bought that car from Blaze Burwell down in Southern Illinois. I bought it used, and it's kind of how I can afford to race. I have nice stuff. People probably think, oh, you work at John Deere, you just buy it. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, my family comes first and racing second, and that's a whole different deal. Like, I'm not going to go broke racing.
Yeah.
And I traded my old blue-gray Rocket that I actually got from Brady Smith, and I raced that for 3 years.
Oh,
that was the
yeah.
last car that he built out of that shop. His uncle and myself put that together up in Solon Springs, and we took all his spare parts out of his hauler,
Okay.
built that car new, and I helped push his last car on when he sold it. So I was the
Okay.
last car out of that shop before he retired.
Wow.
Okay.
And I raced that car for 3 years.
Yep.
And then I traded it in down there with a bunch of other parts I had and help from great sponsors that we'll go through here a little later. But that car was red.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, it's a red frame, so we made it red.
Very
you know,
cool.
and that's where the red came from. And Raleigh Frink always said he went up down the road with me, racing Dairy Series there.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Raleigh, red's fast, and that car was fast. That was probably the best car I had till I got this new car, and I think this new car is a little bit better. These cars are pretty good, and consistent.
Now I'm going to tell you, the red and white car, that car with that color number on it, it was easier for me to see when you're in a pack of cars. I
Yeah,
was able to pick
fluorescent, you
out.
can't beat fluorescent.
You can't beat the fluorescent.
No.
And the black car looks beautiful, but that car was easier for me to pick
Yeah,
out.
this
in the crowd.
pops. This pops.
And then you got a lot of sponsors on there, and
Yep.
I want you to talk about them. One of them I want to talk about, Scotty Relkaris. When did he come on board with you?
Last year and this year. So this is his second year on board. His kid, his boy and my boy played football together, and we had to do
Okay.
homecoming floats and everything down there, and
Oh,
I got to know
man.
Scott just through that, and obviously
Yeah.
seen him at the track, and I tell you what, he, him and his brother, they sure support. I don't know how many cars he's on, but you go to any one of these tracks around here, and you're going to see Relk on a car.
You're gonna see Relk on a car.
Relk went 1-2 last night. I know he's a big supporter of
Gary,
Gary,
Well.
right.
so
Yeah.
and he's on Hannah's car, so
Yeah.
there was, but no, great people. Like I said,
Sure.
we got to have people like that around because it's so expensive to do anymore that we need that support.
All right.
Yeah.
So tell us about your sponsors, Andy. You want to run through that list of sponsors?
Yep. So really start from the top. Tim at McCleary Excavating. That's where my father-in-law has worked. I think he's going on his 50th year next year.
Okay.
But Tim supported my brother-in-law through his racing, and then he jumped on board and helped us over the last probably 5 to 8 years. And
Okay.
I mean, if it wasn't for Tim, we would probably not have new race cars or new motors.
Okay.
He's does very, he supports us very well and very kind-hearted. Him and his wife Mary, and just lost his father this year. So that was a bad deal. Dick always enjoyed coming down. And he came down and he got to see that car before he went to Florida.
Good.
So he came down and that was a good deal. And he passed away probably about 3 weeks after that. But
All right.
great sponsor, like I said, great supporter. If it wasn't for him, we couldn't do what we wanted.
Yeah.
Phillips Enterprises. So we mentioned Kevin earlier. I got a beautiful shop. I work on that car just down from Burkhofer's shop there on Highway 61.
Okay.
He provides like I said, a great shop. He drives the hauler sometimes, and then, like I said, he just purchased that car that Fred Rimley's driving. So we got 2 late models in that shop now. So it's kind of neat. Fred and I started out together. Now we're back racing out of the same shop
Very
again.
cool.
So that's fun.
That's great.
But no, I mean Kevin, Jamie, and Misty, everybody down there, his family, and Rail, and they all jump in. And like I said, that's huge because I don't have to have. I didn't have a big garage at my old house. I have a decent size at my new house, but it's
now
not
you park
big.
the cars in the garage.
But it's not. Yeah, but it's not enough to race out of. And I mean, I've got a lift down there, and I mean, I got a whole sheet metal room to do bodies. I mean, it's it's a class act place. Very, So I mean, that's nice. And then Concrete Place Service Placing. They sponsored here. What,
Couple
2 weeks
weeks
ago?
ago,
They
yeah.
got the big pump trucks. Chris and his family. They're a big supporter. They helped purchase one of our previous rockets from Brady, so huge supporter of ours for our boys are friends and graduating together, but they're a huge supporter of our program. If it wasn't for them, we couldn't do what we're doing, so we really appreciate them. Cal Code out of Dubuque or Sherrill, Iowa, so Ross, and he's the owner of Jeff Tharp's car. I ran that 10N car a little bit, so that was his other car. He supports us, so he does a great job for us. My brother-in-law Stefan does cam wrap, so he puts the wrap on. If you've seen that new car this year, it doesn't pop on the track as much as we'd like, but if you notice that whole wrap's reflective.
Yeah.
To me, it looks beautiful.
It looks awesome, but I'm a fluorescent guy. I mean, I like it, but I like it to pop. But it's neat. He cussed putting it on the whole thing. I'm not gonna lie, because you got to heat everything with that reflective. But I mean, it's cool. I mean, I'll put him up against anyway. He does a great job making my cars look sharp. I mean, it just and I'm very picky. So it's like, I don't know how many reiterations we go through because I like my stuff a certain way, but
Ain't nothing wrong with that, right, Kelly?
But he does a great job. And then we talked about Scotty Relk. He came on board a few years ago, great supporter. Then CRE, so Kurt up there, he's a rocket dealer up out of Tiffin. There's a tight niche of us that work together. Himself, the Jeff Tharp, and myself, we all got rocket cars, and there's not a lot of us that have them around here, so we work real close together, and we do a lot of testing. We were up there testing, last Tuesday, I think, at Davenport, and then when Mark was in town, we did some testing with the rocket guys, but big supporter, he helps us out a lot. Just it's nice to have bounce ideas off of,
Sure.
So.
Very cool.
And then, so Aero Concrete's another one of Chris Jepson's company. He's like I said, supports us very well. Green Buick GMC in Davenport. Jim and the crew up there. If you need a vehicle, they'll treat you right. If they can get one in here lately, there's a shortage. Yeah, so we got a new pickup coming to haul that Parker trailer, but they said it might not be in for 6 months, but we'll pull her with the old 07 until it comes in. But Todd over at Dynamic Power, like I said,
They're the best.
Todd treats us second to none on service. I mean, you if you need something, I know we were racing for that championship at Maquoketa, and man, we won those 5 races in a row.
Sure.
In Davenport, we were going to win that. There were 4 in a row. We were going to win that 5th, and we broke a camshaft lead. We went home, pulled that camshaft out right in the car, shoved the cam in there, went up and won at Maquoketa that night. You know what I mean?
That's unbelievable.
We lucked out that it broke where it did, but not most motor shops are going to come out to your shop, put a cam in on a Saturday, and then we went up there and win the race. So I mean, you need something. It's quick turnaround. They treat us well. Like I said, it'll probably be over there this week getting valve springs put on. So
we're lucky to have Todd in town.
Very cool. So we're lucky,
job.
right, with the crate rebuilders.
Yeah.
Griffiths Construction. So Stacy up there by Iowa City, he's actually gave us one of the carburetors we got on the car now. He races too, and then he also gave us a trailer to go down Florida.
Okay.
So that was a huge blessing to get the car down there. Rich Peak with Storage to Go, the outhouse. He's been on cars for years. He's helped me for years.
Yeah.
Great supporter of our program. He does my taxes to keep my racing in line. So I mean, that's,
we all need help
anymore.
with
It's so expensive. You have to run it as a business, but you have
to.
you want to make sure that you keep Uncle Sam off your back. So Sam's Auto Sales. So old Superman Sam down there. He's racing, but he
Sam
was down.
Halstead.
Yep, Sam Halstead.
Superman
He's got the car lot down there, in Mount Pleasant, and he had a bunch of those tires from last year. He went down and raced.
Okay.
Then this year he couldn't go. A lot of them were like brand new. He says, you know what? I would say, well, I'll buy some from you because I didn't want to buy all new ones. He says, you know what? Just come down, get them, put the name on the car. So I mean,
oh man,
that cut our tire bill drastically.
Way down.
So I mean, for testing, we could run old tires, and a lot of the stuff was like new. We ran them.
Yeah.
So that helped. He jumped on board this year. Pat at Fast Shafts.
Right.
He's been a great supporter for gears and drive shafts and everything. I mean, you order a drive shaft now, you'll have it in the morning. You know what I mean? You can't
awesome.
Zero failures. I mean, he's, then Rocket Chassis. I mean, Mark, Steve Baker, everybody out there. They
can't beat him.
We talked a little bit before the program. I mean, those guys. If you don't know Mark, you kind of think that sometimes he could be standoffish, but when he's at the track, he's there to win. And I'll tell you what, those guys would do anything for you. We went out and built that car, and it was like, here, whatever you need. The one guys were down there helping us put it. We put that whole car together in less than about 5 hours at that shop.
Oh, man.
That's impressive.
And I had a lot of stuff. They put the body on it, but I had a lot of stuff prepped, and we brought it out there. Jeff Tharp and myself went out there. But you know what? They just all come and boom. I mean, we had that car rolling. And, in no time, shocks were rebuilt. I mean, we could have went on the road that night, but we just hung out. And, Mark took us out to supper that night.
Hang on a minute, Andy. Donnie Patask is asking, will you show us the rocket handshake?
Oh, yeah. Oh, him and his master belts. But no,
I figured there had to be a story.
Yeah,
there had to be a story there.
But those guys treat us well. Like I said, I like my master belts, but I've been in rocket cars now since 2015, and
oh man,
and they've been, like I said, you can call them up. They might not get back to you right away. They're busy, but you know what? They'll always get back to you,
Sure.
and they'll always very supportive. And actually, the crew chief for that one car, Danny White, he's from Dubuque.
Now, somebody on here said, how about a purple and yellow throwback for your next red clay chassis? Classic.
Yeah, that was. There's one on there. Like,
right.
no,
We had one up there.
There's some old purple. Yep. But
Never
so
know.
they've been great.
Yeah.
Swift Springs. We've got a lot of Swift Springs on there. We've had great luck with Frank and
Okay.
TMR. Tyler Madigan up there. He's helped us with some stuff up there in Dubuque.
Sure.
I mean, it's just it's a team effort. Like Jason Strong, his wife Tanya. But Jason, there's many nights that I'm at baseball games or he's off a lot of Fridays.
Sure.
For many of these Fridays, he gets down and gets the car done. I didn't even work on it from the week before.
Oh, man.
Between moving, I got a new job at work, and we've been busy, and then baseball. I mean, if it wasn't, for him, I mean, there's no way we could race. I mean, I'm very particular. I don't go to the track unless we go through the whole race car, and he knows what he needs to do, and I know what I need to do. And we work well together, I mean, so it's great that, and my father-in-law Steve, comes with too. He does a great job, or he ramrods the project to keep my wife busy, to keep my wife happy at home. So I mean, it's a trade-off. I think
give out all your secrets now.
He'd probably be better at the racetrack, but he's over there taking one for the team a lot of times.
Oh,
so,
good man.
But
Andy, if people want to see something about Andy Nezworski and read up about the race team. You have a Facebook page?
Yeah, we have a Nezworski Racing Facebook page that we need to do better on keeping up to date.
Sure.
But yeah, there's a lot of old pictures. That's probably where they pulled some. I've got pictures of my old street stock on there.
Sure.
Some of my old supers, and we try to put, some pictures. Keep people updated. I know it's a good deal at social media. I mean, there's a lot of people that follow that my parents say, that my godparents are like, oh,
Sure.
how to, It's we try to keep it updated as much as we can.
Okay.
But
well, that's all good to hear. So hey, I got ad I got to read here. Here we go again. A big thank you needs to go out to Aquaman Power Washing for supporting today's episode. The Aquaman American sale is until July 12th, and all their services are 25% off. And remember to mention Done Right or the True Grit podcast and get an additional 10% off. The Aquaman Power Washing, applying the pressure. Check them out on Facebook or call 563-594-8030. That number again is 563-594-8030. So, any closing remarks, Pat?
Glad to be back, Shane. Please make sure that you like and share. Share it on social media. Also check out Andy's Facebook page.
Yeah.
Nezworski Racing. And let's keep it rolling.
Yeah. The big boss man, Kelly. Now, we were talking about fluorescent numbers, and what it brought to mind was Garrett's car, when they put that fluorescent orange 59 on it, and it was, Jeremiah's car at the time had the white 58, and I personally, but I don't count for anything, I love that. I'm a fluorescent guy.
Yeah, it looks
That
good.
fluorescent 59 looks real good.
Pop.
It fits. It fits
yeah,
well. Cam
now-
did my truck too, so he does great work.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
do.
the fluorescent makes it pop.
It
Yeah,
does.
Oh, for sure.
Especially
Now-
when he ran second the other night.
Speaking of that, are the Team Done Right cars going to be in town for
I think
Thursday
so.
night show?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Maya's car got banged up the other night. He took a pretty good hit. So, but I think they're pretty close to it. I think they're trying to make the Thursday show in Davenport.
All right. And, of course, Andy, we're going to be running IMCA late models, so you will be there.
Yep. Yeah, busy weekend. We're going to run there, and then the plan is we get through there. We're going to go to Donaldson both nights, and then back to East Moline on Sunday. So
Hey, that's
four
gonna be a
nights
good
in a row.
time.
I haven't done that in a while. We've been kind of slacking, only going 1 or 2 nights a week. But
And, Kelly, we're going to have the Done Right TV crew down at Donaldson both nights.
We'll be in. Yeah, we got a busy week too. We're going to be Donaldson both nights, 34 Raceway, Dubuque, East Moline, and then we're in Independence on Tuesday, the 6th,
Wow.
for a big 7,200 to win late model race.
That's going to be something
So
else.
there's stuff on our Facebook, and we'll be sharing a bunch more stuff for that too. So
All
Very cool.
right. Well, hey, we want to thank everybody for tuning into this show. Andy, thank you so much for coming on. It's been, a real good interview. We will get your show, the show we finished tonight,
Okay.
posted on your page.
Okay,
So
sure.
anybody that wants to check it out that didn't get a chance to watch the show tonight, go out to Andy's page and check it out. And with that being said,
I appreciate you
I'm your
guys.
host.
I appreciate you having me
Yeah.
on. No, thanks for having us. I appreciate
Thanks
what
for
you guys
coming.
are doing with like promoting dirt track racing. I
Yeah.
think it's great you guys are doing it. It's great that you guys are, videoing. It helps my parents 7-8 hours away
Well,
to see
it's
it.
a team effort, man.
You know,
like
like I
everything
said,
else, we all
really
gotta work
is.
I
together.
really appreciate it because we got to keep building the sport.
Absolutely.
Just want to
Absolutely.
like say thank you to my you guys and my wife and kids. Lily, I better mention her. She hasn't been on there yet. So.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
Lily, she's been playing ball too. So, but just want to thank all you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate all my
Thanks, man.
sponsors and everybody.
Well, hey, we're going to keep doing what we do behind the scenes, and that's what we're all about. We're just out here trying to help build the sport, try to get more people at the racetrack. And one thing I like about dirt track racing, Andy, is it's a family affair. So, when I see Andy at the racetrack, I know Cheryl's up in the grandstands, and I mean, if you literally walk through the whole pit area, I mean, it's a family affair. Pat, your family,
That's right.
hung around the sport. My family hung around the sport. And, it's something that I really enjoy. So, with that being said,
And hold on here.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to bring that strawberry shortcake from East Bay up here.
yeah,
because
that's right.
That is
That is
ridiculous,
good.
man. It is
Yeah, I
unreal.
seen you,
Oh,
Kelly,
down
yeah.
there, too.
I was there.
He was
right.
there, yeah.
was
I
there.
walked right in, and first guy
Yeah.
seen Kelly was walking around with his
That
dog.
is unbelievable.
Yeah,
man.
that's-
There's
Okay.
no joke about that strawberry shortcake.
So, Kelly, after you ate all that strawberry shortcake down East Bay, you come back here, and that's why you're going to the gym
That's
now.
why I'm back in the gym. Yeah.
Get
I'm on
the
that.
weight
I'm on
back
that downward
off.
cycle again.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
gotta get ready for speed weeks
Yeah,
again, right?
right.
That's
yeah.
right.
Speedos
Oh.
and Speed Week.
Yeah.
All right, Pat, that's about it. We'll see you guys next Monday night, 7 o'clock. We'll be at Davenport Speedway Thursday night. I will be. And then, of course, we'll be 2 days. We're going to be at Donaldson, and Kelly went through that schedule. Check it all out on Done Right TV on YouTube, on Facebook, and we're glad you tuned in. Pat?
Another great show, buddy. Look forward to 4th of July weekend. Lots of racing in store.
All right. I'm looking forward to those fireworks at Davenport Speedway
And
Thursday
no
night.
R word.
All right.
We're done.
We're done with rain. Yeah, okay.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
We'll be seeing you guys around the track. Good night.